Welcome to another episode of Cycling with Ryan. Today we're going to go on a short ride on the Whitewater Canal Trail, riding out of Metamora in southeastern Indiana. The town was once a stop on the canal and now is host to numerous little shops and, of course, the trail, and has a year-round population of under 200 people. I left from the Metamora trailhead and rode northwest on the trail toward Feeder Dam. I never quite made it there, as you'll see here in a little bit. The path kind of winds through town before heading off into the wilderness. The trail does kind of wind back and forth across the canal over numerous pretty small bridges. They're all really small, narrow, and you kind of wind into them on S-curves, so crossing is always a bit slow and cautious. The only major road crossing I encountered on my ride was US Route 52, and there is a warning light there that you can signal to aid getting across. The trail, for most of what I rode, also runs along the Whitewater Valley Railroad, a scenic line that runs mostly on the weekends until the fall. You will crisscross over the tracks several times, and those crossings, to be fair, are not great. They're very bumpy. Along the trail, you'll come across some of the old locks that were used by the canal. There's always something interesting or just peaceful and pretty along this section of the trail. So here's where things began to go south for me, both literally and figuratively. At about the 1.5 mile marker heading out toward Feeder Dam, the path, as you can see in this clip, is all but completely overgrown. Not sure what's going on out there. I made the decision that I wasn't really interested in riding through weeds that were taller than me sitting on my bike, so this is where I made a U-turn and headed back south toward Metamora. So normally I ride paved rail trails, and I wanted to try something different today and ride this gravel path. Now, it was a beautiful ride in terms of the scenery and out in the woods and the history of the canal, but in the end I decided it just wasn't the kind of riding I was really enjoying. The surface goes sometimes from hard-packed gravel to loose, chunky gravel to, in some places, almost like sand, and that inconsistency really made for some slow going for me. The trail runs south out of Metamora toward Brookville, but I elected not to head that way and chose to do some road riding around town. All in, I rode just 11.5 miles in a little over an hour and 15 minutes. It is mainly flat. I did just 230 feet of climbing, but with the surface and all the slowdowns for the bridges and the rail crossings, I managed just over 9 miles an hour. So while it was a fairly leisurely ride, it's just not for me. It is gorgeous and quiet, and if you enjoy gravel riding, it's probably a great trail, but it just wasn't for me. In the nearly 2 hours I was around town or riding, I also saw only one other cyclist as well. You'll want to note too that cell phone service is very spotty out there. In the end, I'm glad I went. I enjoyed the scenery, if not maybe the actual riding, and I learned something about my own tastes in cycling. I hope you found the video relaxing, and if you enjoyed it, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button and consider subscribing to see more rides. As always, until next time, thanks for watching, and let's ride.